Hi, cutie patooties. I am so excited for today's module, all around embracing your, let me pull it up so I get this exactly correct. Embrace your inner strength and worthiness to call in high value partners. This is epic because I remember the times in my life, and I can think of specific relationships where I kept calling in chaos. It was unavailable, it was chasing, it was drama, it was fighting. I was like, fighting is good for relationships. And I mean, not the way I was fighting. Like, you are going to have arguments, you are going to have things in relationship, but not in the way that I was doing it. And I just thought that was normal. Until it hit this moment where I was like, I actually choose relationships not to be hard anymore. I don't want them to reflect my internal demons. I don't want them to reflect the fact that this is normal. This was just my past. I don't want it to be my future. And so it led me on this whole path of discovery and looking at this and really understanding masculine, feminine energetics and the stuff that we're going to be talking about the rest of this journey so that you can start to call in the relationship that you want. And the only way to do that is by you healing these worthiness wounds, the rejection wounds, the belongingness wounds, by truly becoming the one. This program isn't about finding the one, the luring the one. It is about you becoming the one on the way to calling in your one. So we're stepping into that now. We've done the inner work. I've been looking at that. We're going to continue on the inner work, of course, but more so, it's now understanding the outward journey. Okay. And so honestly, this worthiness wound and belonging wound and this whole thing starts with sisterhood wounds. And it's funny because when we're in a program talking about masculine and dating and things like that, you wouldn't think that, but a lot of us were told to stop showing our strengths in order to belong. Whether it was with our friendships, whether it was with our own mothers, we were often told to tone it down. Otherwise, you would challenge or you'd get bullied, or like how I was, it was like, I have been this like eclectic human my whole life, but I lost that spark the older I got into school because people couldn't place me. You know, I was this basketball player that wanted to be a cheerleader. So I was a basketball player that dressed like a cheerleader. They couldn't place me in any of the groups. And, you know, I was this emo kid. I was hanging out with the jocks. I was, you know, listening to rap music, country music, emo. Like, I was a scene kid going to these like headbangers. Like, no one could place me. And if you can't place someone, you get bullied, shoved into lockers, really mean things on my MySpace pages, all that kind of stuff. And as more time went on, I was told to not be myself. Don't speak up. Don't say what's actually on my mind. Say the things that get you chosen. As time goes on, you lose your voice. You lose what makes you rare and valuable, and you start to look like a copy and paste model of everyone else. Except the truth is that so many of us don't feel like we're worthy. We're trying to belong, which is fine because that's the primal need. If we didn't, you know, belong back when we were cave women, we would have been killed. We needed to belong, but we're not necessarily there. And so it's this constant reminder of how can I create safety in this present moment? How can you continually choose that you do belong so that you can actually start to attract a relationship from your highest self, your full self, your complete self, instead of the version of you that feels like they're incomplete and that a partner will somehow validate this, that will make you feel whole. You know, there's this concept of my twin flame, like I am not whole until I meet my twin flame. Fuck that. Honestly, fuck that. That is how we get into trauma bonding, codependency, and things of that nature. The goal here is two complete human beings meeting each other. And when you are complete in your whole, and when we get to the end of this, you're going to be doing a commitment ceremony to yourself. When you know yourself so well and you have standards and respect and boundaries for yourself, anyone that comes into your orbit, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. And that's so easy to do when you get to this space. Does that mean the dating pool gets a little bit slimmer? Yes. You're not just saying yes to anyone that says, oh, you're cute, I like you, and then 4 months later getting your heart bruised. Because it's no longer about getting chosen. It's you getting back into the driver's seat of your life and seeing what's a value add. And it no longer energetically is attracting these things, because that's what we do. That's what our subconscious does. We will always be attracting the things of the lessons we haven't learned. But when you're in this space of, I am so whole, like I am so complete, I'm not full, I'm making space for a partner, I'm not spending all my time working or filling all my gaps in my day, I'm not doing that. I've set up my environment to be made for two people, but I'm complete. This person isn't coming in to complete me. It is just a choice because I love myself. And that's kind of the next evolution that I want to get to. Feel into your body, even as I say that. What does that feel like right now? Does it feel open? It's okay if that voice in your head is like, yeah, but I'm not there yet, Laura. That's okay. Like, that's a voice. That's just a witnessing that voice. But where do you feel open in your body when I say that? Does it feel just like free, that you get to be all of you? You get to work a lot. You get to love a lot. You get to make a fuck ton of money. And you get to have a man that's like your biggest fan and loves you for it and is not challenged by it, is not emasculated by it, doesn't feel like he has to cut you down so that you can't rise because it will challenge his masculinity. Like, none of that. You are here. And so in this module, this is for you if you get subconscious about your strengths and your power intimidating your man or people that you date, and you want to learn what to do about that so that it actually ignites this like spark in him. You are starting to feel like dating is just fucking annoying and it's an energy pull and it's a suck and it's a drag. You're wanting to learn how to strengthen your insides, your vibe, your energetic alignment, the things that matter to you, so that you can become this like magnet for high quality men. And they're like, more please, what is this rare and valuable creature? Like, oh my God, who are you? And then you're ready to ignite your inner seductress and invite that to the world so you can attract these men, or these women, whatever, the masculine. I know you're here for the masculine. You're here for that to come into your life. And they're just like, who the heck are you? I've been waiting for you all my life. And so in this lesson, we are going to cover how to, and you guys know, I'm going to say it every time, but I'm right here. I love you. My notes are behind you though, so I have to look that way. But I'm here with you and I love you. And I just want to make sure that I get it all and the juiciness and all the stuff. And also reminder, one, I have a handful of VIPs available if you want to jump into that as I'm looking at my notes. Handful of VIPs available if you want to up level into that and you're looking for more personalized support. And feedback. If you have anything you want to say about this program, just a reminder, feedback forms are open. You can leave them anonymous if you want. Just let us know. How's it going? You like it? You don't like it? You need something? Let us know. Anyways, okay, so in this cover, how to inspire. In this, we are going to cover how to inspire men to come more strongly after you. We're going to talk about how to set standards that convey you are a high value woman, because the truth is high value men are only attracted to high value women. That's it. They are not going to accept anything less because they have had their awakening and they know who they are and they know what their standards are and they know what they want. They are looking for their wives or their partners. They're not going to settle for less. So you have to become the thing that is rare and valuable, and you claim it within your nervous system. You claim it within your days. You claim it from day to day. You walk through that lens every single day. Everything is filtered through this lens because you are now dismissing the things that told you that you cannot be this bold, brave, beautiful, freaking voluptuous woman, because you're not going to belong to now being like, I'm a high value woman and this is me. And they're like, oh, it's great. Thank you. Because the truth is you want to inspire. That's how that works, right? How to set standards, convey high value, how to get comfortable with being a high value yourself and to convey that without emasculating your men. How to heal all the fears and truly, fiercely let a healthy love in. How to gain supreme, extra, clear clarity on the kind of man that you desire to have in your life. So are you freaking ready? I'm feeling hyped today, y'all. I just had my square of chocolate and my lunch. So we're here. That's why my energy is high. I will start. drop it down because I don't want to speculate you. I always forget that, like, if I'm hyped, it usually is like portrayed into this. So let me drop it into my womb for a second. Okay. Hi. I love you. Okay. So here's what we are going to walk through. The first one, how to inspire men to come on strongly after you, to chase you, to desire you. Your self-worth is your lighthouse. Have you ever felt a woman walk into a room at a coffee shop or at an art exhibition or yoga class, and she just was so present? She knew herself, like she exuded confidence. That is a magnet. For some, it'll trigger. For those that are not that, it'll trigger. But the root of what a trigger is it's what you actually want, right? We judge what we want. And so, you know, when I had this reframe in my mind and I would see people that are just like so in love with their bodies and their men and their life and their money and like all these things, I'd be like, until I got to the point that I was like, you have what I want. And so we did this in the first module where it's like things like this. We seek out expanders because our subconscious programming doesn't yet have it. Like we can't just think like, oh, I want to be confident and I want to have these things and I want to be a lighthouse. When we see people doing it, it's like expander. So I do this like right now, I'm on this like hunt for a Viking. My husband, I want to be a Viking. And so I'm like, anytime, and I mean Viking like this, if someone walks in and they have this strong masculine energy and they're kind of just like burly and like protective, I'm like Viking, expander, I see it. Or if I see someone that's in love in these healthy relationships, I'm like expander. Like surrounding yourself with more and more expanders helps you bring this out of you to become this lighthouse. And so you start to step into this as opposed to, I don't have that, therefore I'm lacking. You start to see it and go, holy shit, that's available for me. And it switches this whole narrative. And so when you're starting to build this, you can start to see the energy of these people. And what is it? It's confidence. How do you build confidence? The thing that makes men confidence comes from your standards. And confidence comes from you upholding those standards. That comes from keeping your word. The biggest thing that you will hear me say all the time is my word is law. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If I say who I am is who I am, that's who I am. This is what I do. My word is law. It's better than my signature. And how do I know that? Because time and time and time and time and time again, I have always showed up for myself. That's how you start to actually build confidence. It has nothing to do with how you look or what size you are or what clothes you have or the things you have in your house or how much money is in your bank account. It is who you know yourself to be. Do you know yourself to be the best ROI? Do you have a standard for yourself that you do not drop? I know myself. I'm my best friend. I really am. I treat myself with such love and kindness. And because of that, I'm kind to the world around me. And I can flirt openly and I can do these things. And I'm just this, I'm my lighthouse. So what is it for you that can invite you into your confidence? Where are you having low standards? Because the truth is, I'm going to bet you have your strengths when you're by yourself. But how often are you tossing them to the curb when you meet someone and putting their needs before yours? And not even knowing your needs before you even get into the relationship. You're just looking to like be chosen because you just want to be out of this loneliness and you want someone to validate that you are chosen and belong. And so as soon as they're there, you're spending all your time together. You're doing all these things that you might not even like. You're just like, oh, they like them, I like them. You like them, I like them. Not to say there's not compromise. Like there are compromises on plenty of things in relationships. It's one big compromise. But if you're self-abandoning in order to be chosen, that's low standard behavior. High standard is, this is how I love myself. How are you showing up for yourself? How are you building trust with yourself? How can you start to, because the thing, right, as well is like the thing about trust, men want trust. That's all they want from you. Like they want appreciation, respect, and trust. And so it's like, if you don't trust yourself because you haven't set standards for yourself and you haven't made these promises to yourself that you know how to keep and you've done all these kind of things, you're probably projecting onto him that you don't trust him. And he has to prove himself to you in order to get your trust. But that is just the mirror and the projection and the reflection back that you don't trust yourself if you don't trust him. And of course, there's the things that are like, sometimes they break our trust and it comes back to it. But if you haven't built the trust with yourself, because say you've had a bruised heart, say someone broke your trust in the past, that was a big thing for me, domestic violence, a lot of cheating, a lot of stuff where like I should have listened to my intuition and I didn't. And none of that had to do with the person. That had to do with the fact that I hadn't yet healed my relationship to the masculine, which is what we did last module, or 2 modules ago. And I hadn't healed my trust with my intuition yet. My true body, does this feel like a fuck yes? Because you can feel it in your body right now. When I think of something that feels, it's 111, you feel like something is a fuck yes. Like, it's just like, this is for me. Yes, my move. This is for me. Fuck yes, I'm in. Like, there's no hesitation. I'm in. Whatever the fuck, I've got it. And when something's like I don't know, that's when the push happens. That's when this like lack of trust starts to build, and then we're projecting that onto the poor people that are sitting in front of us. And so when you can start to look at this, how to inspire men to come on more strongly after you, how strongly are you coming after yourself? How much confidence do you have that your word is law, that you treat yourself like someone you love, that your standards uphold that? And by standards, I mean like how you dress yourself, how you eat, how you move, what you read, what you talk about, how you rest, how you play. No one is going to invite you to this. You know, oftentimes we have a list in our phones of all the qualities we think this person is going to have. Are you doing that for yourself? Are you becoming the one for your one? This is when you become an energetic match for that. And when that person comes, because I can think of the stories when, you know, I had at a time in my life a relationship. I had 2 guys I was dating and hadn't gotten serious yet. And so I was seeing them. One, living at home. Just started a business, so he was living at home. Great man, made me feel very seen, safe, all the stuff. But when I met him, he wasn't actively looking for a wife. He was like, I'm just dating, I'm seeing what happens, da 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 da. It was just he was in that stage. The other guy traveled 2 hours right after surgery to come see me, was building his house, made his space for his wife. He was calling it in. He was healing his masculinity, his femininity. He was understanding these things. Guess which one I chose? Only to 8 months later, be disappointed with a bruised heart that the one wasn't ready for marriage. You have to have your standards set for what you want so that when it comes, you are a match. Truth was, I could say that I wanted to be a match for this person with the house and the things and the businesses and the success and the readiness, but I wasn't yet. And I had to learn that lesson. I was like, I'm saying I want this, but really I was just focusing on being chosen. And that person intimidated me. If I look back at that in hindsight, I was like, oh shit, I'm actually not ready to be a wife. Whereas now I'm like, I'm fucking ready to be my housewife era. Come to me. Like, it's claiming that because my standards now fit that. I am who I say I am. And so looking at your life, where is there a mismatch in that? And so this leads us into, because ultimately you want to have that, right? Like, you want your person, you want the love of your life. That's why we're here. We're ready for our soulmate, whether that's going to happen in 6 months or a year and a half. It doesn't, who knows? But you're getting ready and you're living in alignment to that. It can happen like that when this stuff happens, right? And so if that's what you want, that's what leaning into this is setting this standard. And it's scary because we have our upper limiting of like our nervous system is like, oh, this is new and I'm gonna fuck this up. Like your past self is more safe there. So we're always being tested to go back there. That's the thing about the universe, God, whatever, is it will always give you a lesson or a test to be like, are you fucking sure? Are you sure you mean what you say? And we get this temptation. Are you sure? Because here's your ex-boyfriend. Are you sure? Because here's this shit with your mom. Because are you sure? You're going to be tested. Who are you in those moments? Do you uphold your standards? And that's when we move into how to heal these fears and truly let love in. We notice this upper limiting effect because when you know your worth, when you know it, you can value it in another. Because the truth is, how many times I can think of this. One of my partners, I grew up in a very, it was abusive in many degrees lifestyle, right? Like I didn't really, there wasn't safety, but I thought it was because that was my protectors, right? I just grew up in a harsh reality. And so my partner, my mother was a pediatric ER nurse. It was, if there's not blood, you're not hurt, no sick days, you power through, team no rest was my life. Like we are not allowed to rest. We are in it. And so my partner at the time tore his ACL. I literally thought he was the biggest baby the whole time. A month in, whatever, then we finally realized he tore his ACL. After a week after surgery, I was sweet, I was nurturing, I was in my feminine until a weekend. And I was like, okay, it's been a week. Are you ready to help around the house yet? He was like, Laura, we went to therapy. We went to couples therapy. He like came in, he's like, you don't even see it. And I was like, see what? And he was like, that is not okay behavior. I just got out of surgery and it's not a small surgery. No, I can't help around the house. I can't do the dishes and clean. Like I can't move. It hurts so much. And I was like, holy fuck, baby. Like I am so, like that's the thing about our protectors and our blind spots. I talked about this in the Q&A. Like we can't see them sometimes. But all this did, I remember looking at him and I was like, thank you. And he looked at me because he was like, baby, like, how are you talking to yourself then? And I was like, oh, fuck. Because I was the biggest dick to myself. You are not good enough. Go stronger, go harder. You can't rest. I had this voice for decades of my life. And I realized it's because I never felt good enough. I didn't feel like I could belong. I didn't feel like I could be me. And so liberating this feminine essence made me realize you can rest and you can be too much. You can have it all. And it isn't, I don't need to nitpick anyone. It's funny. I was talking to my best friend about this. I was like, it's so nice. Like I spend my days and I really want you guys to get to this point. The more you lean into this work and you become aware of the person speaking and then the person observing who's speaking, we have two voices in our head. Yes. And you can hear the mean one of the complainer and the things that are wrong. And then the one that's observing it because you're listening to that happen. The more you pay attention to this, the more you'll see how big of a dick one is, that inner gremlin, that inner bitch that I talk about. And then I was talking to my friend about this where I was like, it's so nice. Like mine is there, of course. But lately, doing this work because I'm so in it with you. Like I've been doing this work, right, for quite some time, but like I'm in it with you as making this program. My inner dialogue, that's why I'm so passionate about this work. My inner dialogue has been like, I am so proud of you. Like, I love you. You're so strong. I'm so proud of you. Like that are the things that I'm falling asleep to in my head now. And so that's why I know when you go all in on this work, that's what happens. That's why I know that this works. Because to get to that space, that means when I come into my relationships, my friendships, repairing things with my father, my business, my clients, my suitors, I'm not looking for them to fill my unmet needs to mean I'm chosen or belong or that I'm worthy or that I am a good person or I'm whatever. I just see them in the divinity of what they are. I see them in their light. You know, I genuinely believe men are brilliant fucking human beings. So when I can see them in that, because I believe I am a fucking brilliant human being, and I love myself, then I can see them in that too, that I'm like, you figure the fuck out. Like, you're so smart. I don't have to do it for them. I don't have to mother them. I don't have to fix it for them or mentor them. I'm just like, unless they want it and they can ask, and they have, but it's like, no, even in the breakups, in my most recent breakup where I was like, I trust your decision. Like, you are brilliant. I told you guys this one in module H where I was like, you're brilliant. I trust you if that's it. And yeah, of course, ouch, like human experience. But at the same time, it's like, okay, it means nothing about me. I still love me. I'm still showing up for me. My standards are still this way. It means you're just not it. How free would that make you feel to have that? That's what doing this work does every single day. That's why it's paving this pathway, because you've probably been told you're not enough. You probably have the voice of your mother or your father or some caretaker or some mean schoolgirl in your head. Where it's like, if you can just observe it, see it, shift it, you start to now create a new narrative. The thing is, we get lost in this thing called a false love identity. Right? I had this false love identity of my strength is intimidating, and it therefore makes men leave me because they don't want to be expanded in this way, because I think too much and I dream too much and I do these things and I have 87 emotions and I'm open, and it is, as my friends call me, I'm ecstasy. Like, being in my orbit is, you can't play small, and it takes special human beings to be in my orbit. I shamed myself for a long time about this. I thought I was wrong, so I'd keep it inside. Or that I'm too broken to be loved because of my past, so that the more people found out about me, the more they're like, I don't know if I can hold that. And then they leave, or that as soon as I let them in, they leave. Or, they only want me around if I can do something about it. I had all these false love narratives, meaning I was in survival and I had these beliefs that I held. You're going to see this in the journaling prompts of exploring this a little bit deeper. What is your false love identity that you hear too much, too broken, too dirty, not enough, too this, not enough that, playing with that. Because when this happens, our primal lizard freaking brain is in challenge, and it shrinks our strengths. We don't want to be seen, especially if you've been through trauma. It's like, be safe, be quiet, be seen but not heard. When the feminine presence, she's seen as soon as she walks in. Like I said, that girl in yoga class, that woman in yoga class, that woman at brunch, she walks in and you're like, I want that. What is she having? What is she drinking? Look at that outfit. I want it. What's her lipstick? Like, that energy. She doesn't have a false love identity. And then you step into and wake up your true love identity. And this comes from, really dismissing what we probably got from our caretakers and all that fucking shit growing up of, you are too much and be seen but not heard, and if you could just be quiet, like all this stuff, to find out who you really are without the narratives of your past getting in the way. And so, I came here to love and be loved. I have the power to learn how to create healthier, happier connections and to deepen them over time so that they create these lasting relationships. That was mine. It's like, I am here to be loved. I'm a double Libra, all the kind of thing. I am here to love and be loved. That is my natural essence. That is your natural essence. This is my true love identity. And therefore, I'm going to make peace with my strengths, because my strengths are, it's funny because our brains, we often will actually connect with people on our weaknesses. I'm too fat, I'm too this. Every time you sit down to lunch, how many of your friends are on a diet and they're complaining about their husbands and they're doing these things and they're not enough? And that actually helps us feel like we're belonging, as opposed to, I'm amazing. I feel so fucking good. Like, I love myself. That to people, they're like, narcissist, like fucking red flag word of the season, where it's like, if you genuinely love yourself, that is amazing. I hope my child has that. Why can my child have it but I can't? I want to be the type of mother that raises my kid to really love all of you, the shadows, the dark brain, the dark feminine, the light body, the light feminine, all of it. Healing, to really let love in, is really healing, going back to module A, accepting and loving yourself. That is your gift, because when you do that, you set everyone else free. You stop being a dick when someone gets surgery and expect them to clean the house. You're like, I'm sorry, do you want soup? Like, to be in that space where you can witness the thoughts, and this is what's so powerful, is just day to day go through, witness your thoughts. When you hear that thought of like, you need to do more, there's someone in your head observing that thought. Michael Singer talks about this all the fucking time. Doing that work, Michael Singer's work, has changed my life. Comes in, observes the thought. He's the one that reads Untethered Soul, which is the book that started my entire spiritual journey when I was backpacking around Sri Lanka. You can observe the two thoughts going on in your head. And so you can just let it pass. Like, it's just like, oh, actually, you're funny. What are you bothered by right now? It's not real. And you just let it go. And so when you start to do these things, you release the false love identity and step into your new love identity. You're going to see that I'm going to talk about a commitment ceremony in that, because if you step into your true love identity, you start to let love lead you. And ultimately, when you're in that space, you call in a love that is complete, not this person, this father figure, this mother figure, this unmet needs person to come in and heal you. That's not what they're there for. They're short-lived when that happens, but this partnership, this teammate, this fucking Viking that comes into your life, and you're like, I've been waiting for you. And yet I haven't, because my life is so full and complete. Not full, whole and complete. But I made space for you right here. Thank you. And I feel so good. You don't need them, you want them. And you're allowed to want things. Like, that is the feminine. We want stuff. We want more always. That's the art. And so next is gaining clarity on the kind of man that you desire to attract into your life. This is the biggest thing, because I need you to get really fucking clear on this. Like I said about my story of like this, the guy that was ready for the wife and the guy that wasn't. I was just looking to be chosen, right? When now it is crystal clear the type of man I want in my life is a match for the standard I have of myself. If it is not at a level of which I would treat myself, one, I don't expect any man, friend, person to do anything for me that I wouldn't do myself. If I'm not willing to do it, I don't expect you to do it. A lot of us are in that mismatch of like, I'm just going to wait and they'll do it. I'm just going to wait for my life to begin. And then when I meet my person, no, go. This is why you guys see me. I travel alone. I do things alone. I live my life. I am not stopping until I meet my person. I see this way too much with clients and friends where they're like crying, being like, I just think I'm missing out on my life until I meet you. Because when you meet your person, you're coming from a needy energy. That's not a very clear vision of who you want and what you deserve and what your non-negotiables are. I have here written, when we develop a strong inner knowing of who we are and what we deserve, when we get clear on our boundaries and non-negotiables in dating, we step into the world of men, of dating, of masculine, with the highest of inner confidence. And in that, it's the most attractive vibe to a man, because the masculine, a wounded masculine, comes in with this like saving energy and the fix it energy. They're not healed either. You, I hope, are looking for a complete whole man that is looking for his teammate, his partner, which means you need to be complete and whole, not fully, but at least on your way of getting there, right? There are just some things that we can't do unless we're in partnership. You just don't get that awareness. You just don't. But like, there has to be things that are done outside of the relationship, even when you're in a relationship. Even for my women that are in here and they're married for 2 decades, 3 decades, like, you still have to have your solitude moments. You still have to learn about yourself outside of the relationship, so that when you come in, you create this polarity, which we're going to talk about in next module, creating polarity and mystery and magnetism. But in order to create these things, you gotta learn to be in your own energy, establish what your non-negotiables are, establish crystal clear who you want. And of course, it's going to be better than you could have ever imagined. And I'm not talking about, what this person looks like. No, I'm talking about how you feel in their presence. Right? When I say Viking, like, sure, I would love this like big chisel draw. What I mean is in their presence, I'm like melting. I feel small. Not like my energy, but like me, I feel protected. Like they're like over me, like I feel open. I feel feminine. I feel safe. I feel expressed. I feel wild. I feel free. Like even my body right now, I'm like, yeah, like that's what I mean by Viking. Like me, all of me, because he's got it. That's my Viking. And so what kind of man do you want to attract into your life? Get crystal fucking clear on that. Feel that energy and how your body feels in his presence as if he's sitting right in front of you. And like tap into that almost daily. And because the truth is, here's how it works. Now you have to become a match to that. Right? What type of person would that person call into their lives? And every single day you are filtering your life through that lens. I talked about this in the Q&A. The 10x version of yourself, my housewife era that is feminine and nurturing and loving and successful and brilliant and all the things. Like anything that I do is filtered through that lens, my 10x version of my life. If that version of me that I have in my head that I've now connected to and I can feel, if I can feel this emotionally unavailable person that's blown me up, if I can feel getting hammered and doing these things, if I can feel the, not living in my purpose and my mission, and I'm just like waiting for someone to come by and I'm watching Netflix and hopefully something happens, does that meet the 10x version of me? Not to say these things can't exist. They do from time to time, but realistically, we get what we want in life from the 20% of the things that we do. Isn't that fucking wild? We spend 80% of our days doing bullshit when 20% is what actually gets us the result. This is The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan. Again, this is about entrepreneurship, but I believe it in love too. Because how you spend your days, how you spend your life, is now filtered through this lens of, would I do this to me? Would I speak to myself this way? Would I not answer my calls in this way? Would I not do this? And of course, we give grace to some people because we do have to train people how to love us. It takes time. But eventually we get to this thing of like, I wouldn't do that to me because this is how whole I am. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to lower my standard just to be chosen. I love me so much. And I'm crystal clear on what that partner is going to make me now feel, because I've been feeling it every fucking day because I make myself feel that. Like I said in the beginning, or letting go module, you can turn on your love just like that. If you think of a time when you were in love and you were raptured by your partner, an ex, whatever, it's okay. Get rid of the connotations around it. But like that type of love that you can tap into it just like that. Which means you are capable of doing that. And the truth is, when you meet someone, they are just a mirror of the love that you have for yourself. This is why it's so good to have expanders, like your friendships and your family and the people that really you are in love with. They're mirroring back the type of love. If you feel like you don't belong, you feel like you're not respected, you feel like you're not heard, that is your inner work. That's why the first modules were around that. And now it's at that stage of like, do you feel that love? What you want that partner to make you feel? That person, that sexy man, that Viking, that thing. Oh, like you just like know it in your core what that would feel like. And so every single decision is made through that lens. The way that you work, the way that you show up, the way that you post, the way that you study, the way that you work out, the way that you meditate, the way that your spiritual practice, your physical practice, like everything is through that lens now. Because slowly over time, you start to become a match for your match. It's not that they're going to come into your house, pluck you out of your Netflix, and somehow make you feel worthy. You're worthy because you are, because you were born. Of course. Are you showing up to you to make yourself worthy? Are you showing up to you to build that trust with yourself? to raise your standard day by day. The standards I have for myself, this is a gradual process. And here's the thing about this. It's a gradual process that happens over time. And you're not going to get it right at first. Because the truth is, every client I've ever had does this. You start to build your standards of like, I'm a worthy, wealthy woman and I'm a high value woman. And you actually put yourself on a fucking pedestal and you make yourself untouchable because you're actually afraid of getting hurt. And so you say you have these standards and you start speaking in a way and dressing in a way and doing these spiritual practices and make yourself basically untouchable. And that's okay if that's genuine. But majority of the time, anyone that I've met that has done things to a 10th degree and forgot how to be human is because they're trying to protect themselves from something. And so you're going to do that phase, and that's totally okay. That's part of it. As you try to figure out what your truth and what your standards are, you're going to try on a whole bunch of people that you admire, and then you're going to finally land in your own energy of like, this is one of the lessons I learned from one of my recent breakups, where I was like, because of the industry that I work in, because of the people I surround myself with and the stuff that I see and the world that I'm in, I thought for the longest time, like my wealthy life was like luxury hotels and speakeasies and 5-course meals and all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm a Libra. But the moments to me that are truly of my standard are the picnics randomly in bed at 10 o'clock after jujitsu, and they come in and they're like, Italian food, you want it? And I'm like, not really, but yes, like this is the best. It's the slow mornings with coffee and breakfast sandwiches. It's the giggles on the couch where me and my best friend are fighting over blankets. Like, yes, I love luxury hotels, but that isn't actually what gives me happiness and memories. It's the fresh farm eggs. It's the fresh food. It's the way my linens smell when they're clean. Like that to me is my standard. Love, softness, home. I spent my majority of my life now traveling and experiencing things and getting to see the world. And some of people, that's their standard right now. Like it's also, your standards are going to change as you change. So now mine are softer. Mine are like, my clothes are even different now. Like I've wiped out my clothing because I'm in this soft woman housewife era of my life. And I love that for me. So it's figuring out what is your standard, and you're going to try things on. You're going to get it wrong. You're going to get it right for that chapter. Like you can't get it wrong. Really, it's right for that chapter. And you're going to figure out these things until you land home within yourself. And you're like, this is actually what makes me happy and peaceful. This is who I am. So when you meet someone, then you're like, oh yeah, that's who we are together. That's what I want. And so, you know, then you get crystal clear on that, where it's like, I want someone that's physically active. I want someone that's an entrepreneur. I want someone that wants to go on hiking trips and, you know, do kite surfing. And I want someone that wants to just like sit and read books in the morning and make me like the best latte and call me his sweet Georgia peach, even though I'm not from Georgia. Like they're things, right? The softness and the adventure. That's me. So get crystal clear on what for you and how are you treating yourself in that way every single day and in alignment to that, because that's how you start to become a match. It's not that they come into your world and somehow it all fits into a pretty bow and you guys, that's how that works. No, after the age of 30, like that would have happened if you met someone in college and we see those couples and they go on it together or whatever. But like as we're in later stages of life where that wasn't our path, now it's usually two people that have their shit figured out. And now it's about blending that to see how that works. And high value men are attracted to high value women. That are high value masculine is attracted to high value feminine. I'm going to, you know. So filtering things through that lens of your high value. Is this a reflection of the respect, the value, the standard I have for myself? If it is a no, why are you doing it? You're going to get really comfortable with this statement. No. No, I don't want to do that. No. And you don't have to do it in a bitchy way. You can literally just be like, no, I'm going to stay in tonight. But thank you for the invite. Or if it doesn't feel right, like someone texts you too late last minute, where it's like surprise dates are totally fucking fine, but if they don't actually know you or have that type of intimacy with you, no. So then you sit there and you're just like, actually, like I have other plans. But if you want to text me a little bit earlier next time, we can maybe set something up. Thank you. Winky face. Like, it doesn't have to be bitching, teaching him a lesson, doing his mothering thing. Like, this is my standard. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. You can be playful. You can be creative. You can be tasteful in the way that you express your standards to someone. Right? Like, if someone's late, it's just like, I've actually already put my pajamas on because I didn't know what it was. But next time, just let me know. And we can set something up if you want to give them another chance. Which I always believe in second chances because people don't know. And we are training a society of a little bit. But that's how you move into this. So that's how you call in this person. You become a high value woman, right? And the truth is, you get to have it all. You get to be a high value woman. You get to have success. You get to make all the money. You get to have the impact. You get to write the books. You get to be all that you are, have the deep sisterhood, travel, do the retreats, all the stuff. You get to have that all. And you get to have love. You really fucking do. High value means holistic. You get all of it. And so we're going to explore these things. Okay. Next section, we were talking all around mastering your magnetism. This is so good, y'all. So mastering your magnetism with presence and creating mystery within the commitment process. So if you've been wanting to, you're ready to learn how to feel confident in who you are right now and create this lighthouse approach, you've been wanting to up-level your allure. So it's just like you go out to coffee shops and they're like, who the heck are you? And you walk home with numbers. And I've been testing this one out, y'all, for the last 2 weeks. I have come home. Every time I go to a coffee shop, I come home with the number. It's great. Yeah. If you feel like you tend to chase, but you're ready for them to chase you, if you are ready for, the commitment, you're ready for someone to commit to you. I'm going to walk you through all of this and how to step into it. And so to get you ready for that, I need you to take this homework seriously. I really do. This one has changed everything in my life. And it's so, so important. And so we're going to mix up the embodiment practices this time. So we're going to start with the journal prompt, 2 journal prompts, and then the embodiment practice, and then another journal prompt. You're going to walk through your first journal prompt, which is going to be around your false love identity. What are the false narratives going on that are actually perpetuating out in your relationships? What's going on here? Like I was saying, how I'm too much and my strength is too much and blah, blah, all the things that I have. Then you're going to let that go. Have a release, have the awareness of that, let that go. Then you're gonna move into the next one, the next day, and it's gonna be writing your new love identity. And then you're gonna go through the embodiment practice, which is a commitment ceremony. This is your commitment to yourself. I have my ring. It's fucking beautiful. I got it from Moon Child. I really recommend, or Moon Magic. I really recommend it. It's a moonstone, so all about new beginning. It's very beautiful. You can get whatever you want. It can be a necklace. I've had some clients do earrings. I've had clients do other rings, like whatever you want to do. Something that you wear every day that shows your commitment to yourself. So when you see it, it's this, would I do this to me? And am I showing up to myself and in my integrity of the highest 10th degree for myself? And then we're going to jump into the last journal prompt. And so you're going to make this commitment, and it's going to be something that you wear because you've gone on this journey, and now it's upholding this journey of becoming the one. I'm really excited about this. Pop in a Telegram. Let me know how it goes. This whole thing. I love you. We'll see ya. And if you also, if you guys want to jump in to one-on-ones or anything like that, let me know. I have a handful available. Even if you're watching the replays of this, I keep like 5-ish available for anyone that's in Alchemy of Love. So reach out if you're looking for more personalized support and you're ready to call in your love this year. I got your back. Bye.